this, but it's going to the live stream.
Oh, okay, okay,
So we
okay.
got a project here.
We don't
And
have
then,
monitors.
yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Sounds
So good morning, everybody. Thank you all for joining us here for the fall 2023 Student Media Open House. We're going to just use this time to give you a little bit of background about the student media organizations that they have on campus, give you some time to ask any questions or address anything that you might have. And we're going to just have a little bit of fun for an hour, not take up too much of your time. I'm Chuck Colin, the student media advisor here at Georgia State University, and I'll allow our panelists here to introduce themselves.
Never been a panelist. My name's Blue Tannery. I'm the program director at WRAS Album 88.
Hey everybody, my name's Adam Duffy. I am the current editor-in-chief at The Signal.
Hi everyone, my name is Thomas Mitchell. I am a second year graduate assistant and I am the producer at GSPN.
And in addition to these organizations, we also have other organizations that still should be in attendance, but I'm not sure if they will come. But we have two literary journals as well. That will be Underground, which is more so catered to undergraduate students. You have New South, which is our graduate level literary journal. You also have Neon, which is video production and film. And Neon specifically, they're in a rebuilding period and currently looking for a general manager. So, although there isn't direct representation here, we still can answer questions on Neon, and anyone that has interest in Neon, I'll be glad to kind of help you with that process in terms of joining that organization as well. And we also will have a representative from her campus, which is a digital magazine sort of like platform here on Georgia State. Now I'll just allow everyone to sort of just give their spiel about the organization you represent and any useful information that our audience perhaps will want to know.
Yeah, I guess I'm sitting first, so I'll go first. So I represent WRAS Atlanta, which is Georgia State University's student-run, student-managed radio station. We broadcast 24 hours a day. We program for 24 hours a day. Signed on to the air for the first time in 1971, so we celebrated 50 years of broadcasting in 2021. Credited with breaking artists in Atlanta, including Outkast, Goody Mob, REM, The Replacements, B-52s. Pretty instrumental in launching the cult. All good. Pretty instrumental in launching college rock as a genre back in the 70s and 80s. College rock isn't really a thing. It's just kind of indie rock now. But those were the roots. 50,000 watts. We reached 30 miles, basically in all directions. RAS programming has been called eclectic and compelling. Always given superlatives by people like College Music Journal, RIP, Creative Loafing. Specialty programs, including Mighty Aphrodite, Moshi Moshi, Common Folk. We just started some talk programming, so we're doing a news program now. RAS Stories is a series of interviews with past staff members. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else?
Where are you located?
We're located like right there. You literally walk around the corner. We are on this hallway. There's like 3 doors that are us. It's kind of hard to miss us. I'm pretty sure we have more space than. So Album 88 offices have more floor space than any other student organization. So if you want a place to chill, come hang out at Album 88. And if you're interested in radio broadcasting, getting to DJ your own sets, getting to talk live on air, interact with callers, and maybe win tickets, we'd love to have you.
Thank you, Blue. Yeah, as I said, my name's Adam. I am the editor-in-chief of The Signal, which has been Georgia State's student-run, student-led newspaper for going on 90 years now. We went into syndication in 1933, and so we'll be celebrating 90 years here in 2020. So The Signal, while we make a newspaper, I wouldn't say we are a newspaper. The Signal is a very holistic sort of news and lifestyle organization. We make a newspaper, but that's not all we do, and you shouldn't think of it as just a pursuit for journalists and journalism students. We have a team of dedicated writers across many different sections. We have people who go to our Atlanta and Georgia State sports games. We have our news writers who investigate important events. But we also have our arts and living writers who go and go to local concerts, go interview local artists. Besides that, we have a large team of creative students who help design all of the elements within our paper, both the paper itself, as well as any of the illustrations that go in it. I don't know if you've ever picked up one of the ones, but our most recent issue that just came out a few days ago has a wonderful illustration by one of our super talented students. You get?
Where'd they go? There's a whole stack of.
They're right there. They're right
there.
there.
All right,
I'm gonna hand them out later.
I was
Uh, but beyond that, beyond our creative team, we have a large business and administration team where many students help handle all the ad sales we get in our newspaper and all our other products. They help run the organization as a whole, making sure everyone's connected and helping us tackle different tasks like in and out of the university. And so, really, the Signal is a very catch-all for anyone who's just interested in getting real experience in an established organization that has a lot of credibility in this state and across the country. Within our 90-year circulation, we've covered on the most important events throughout our time. In recent years, we've received countless awards for best college media, best college newspaper in the country, best reporting, all that sorts of stuff. And so if you have an interest in student media in general and getting involved and getting experience in any sort of field that you might be interested in, we have a place for you. And a recent addition to the Signal's sort of, scope is video broadcasting. We used to have a separate student media organization that sort of handled like news in the form of video, in the form of live broadcasting, but that's now been turned into sort of folded into our organization. And so we're trying to grow that team. We're trying to get on-air talent. We're trying to get people who are interested in working with cameras and making videos for the organization. And so really, there's no place that you won't find here. Yeah, that's all I'll say.
All right, guys. I'm Thomas Mitchell. I'm here to represent GSPN. So just to piggyback off of him, going on video production. So we're strictly live video production. So everything we do is live. So I'm here today because we're trying to find freshmen to come in and run our shows. So I'm a second-year graduate assistant. I've been working with GSPN for about 3 to 4 years now. And so this is actually our first year that GSPN has become a title and has become a thing. So you guys have the opportunity to work with GSPN from day one. When I first started, we were just a production network, so we hired strictly freelancers. And for you guys who don't know what freelancers are, those are people who get, I guess I can say, reached out to, and they get contracted to come do a game. And so they do not technically work for the university, but they're contracted to come out and work, I guess, a vast number of games in a sense. So we're looking for freshmen to come in. We're offering real control room experience. The control room that we work in is similar to the control room that you will see at the Atlanta Falcons, at the Atlanta United, and at the Atlanta Hawks, and so on and so forth. And so it's merely about connections, the network opportunities when you come. There are vast opportunities. When I first started at Georgia State University, I was an audio engineer, and like I just told you when I started talking, that I am now the producer for Georgia State University. So there is, I guess, opportunity to grow and level up in the organization. And so we have a plethora of jobs open for you all as well. We're looking for engineers, camera operators, replay operators, expression operators, dashboard operators. If you guys have the I guess if you want to be a sideline reporter or any type of reporter of that sense as well, like we just have a plethora of jobs open, and we're looking for freshmen to come in and fill some of those positions. So, when students like me and our other seniors are leaving out, you guys can come in and be the heads of these programs.
Thank you all for that. Can you all just talk about your experiences as members of student media? For someone that's sitting in this audience, what can they expect in terms of their student media experience? A lot has obviously changed and evolved over time, especially with like COVID and everything. So on like a day-to-day basis, and in terms of being involved in your team, what can one expect?
So I can probably say I know this applies to Album 88. I bet it applies to the Signal and GSPN as well. Student media really is what you make of it. The entry level positions are, take up a couple hours a week or whatnot, but a lot of student media is giving you opportunities to find out what you want to do, to experiment and screw up and do stupid stuff, and then figure out how to do it well later. That's what college is for. You do stupid stuff and figure it out, and then hopefully you do slightly less stupid stuff after you graduate. At Album 88, the entry level position is just on air DJ. We bring you in, give you orientation, train you up, and then you have your 2 hour a week time slot where you come in, you commentate the rotation that's preloaded, and after a couple months or weeks of that, once you feel comfortable and management feels comfortable, we could give you a specialty program, which is something you decide your own genre, you decide your own theme. We might put you with somebody else. There's a lot of room for growth and exploration. We just started a news program. It's about 2 hours a week. We're actually working with the Signal on that. Even between media organizations, there's some overlap. Um, a lot of it is what you make of it. At Album 88, there's a lot of room for growth and experimentation. I've been at Album 88 for 2.5 years now. I started as just a rotation DJ. They asked me to be an assistant program director a year, and then when our PD graduated, I stepped into his shoes. That's what happens a lot. Is if you're present, if you're interested, if you're asking questions, people will notice, and there will be opportunities to move up in the world and within student media, and they're consistently fantastic launch pads for careers in all kinds of fields. And I'll let Adam expound on that.
Yeah, for sure. And so, just to start, I'll just describe briefly my experience with student media. It began right here in this room about 2.5 years ago. This is actually the 5th student media open house I've been to, the 4th that I've sat up at this desk for. And yeah, it started here. I went to this afterwards. I applied to join the team, and I started off at the lowest level position. I was a writer for the news section of the paper. I was writing news stories and investigating different events. And from there, I mean, I put in the work, which involves as a writer and as anybody on the team. Really, we all operate on a 2-week schedule, and so whether you're designing something, writing something, taking a series of photos, it's all on a 2-week schedule as our paper releases each week with sort of an overlapping schedule that is a full 2 weeks. But became editor for my section shortly after joining in just like the semester afterwards. After the end of that year, I became editor-in-chief, and it's the rest is history. But yeah, it's a very natural progression. It's very easy if you have the dedication and you have the interest to really establish yourself in any one of these organizations. And I can speak from personal experience. A vast majority of all can credit their work here at this organization with what they go on to do afterwards at any level. We've had editor-in-chiefs from the Signal go on to work at the New York Times. We've had our designers go on to work at Time Magazine. All sorts of things. Really, it's the Signal and but all the student media organizations here hold a lot of weight still in the world outside, even though it has changed a lot. And it's very valuable, on your resume. It's very valuable as real life experience. Getting to work as part of a team with real goals and real expectations. And so I can't speak to that enough.
So in terms of student media, this is actually my first year being a part of student media. I was able to do some orientations with Chuck throughout the summer, so I got to kind of be hands-on with the incoming freshmen and tell them about our program. But just our prior experience, like I was telling you guys, this is our first year of the program, so the past 2-3 years that I've been here, we were strictly freelancers. We maybe had some students that were working, but majority were freelancers. And I just believe you get in what you put out, extremely, 100%. So if you're coming into work and you don't want to be here, you have that mindset, hey, I'm not having a great day, or I don't want to be here today. You're gonna perform that way as well as if you don't want to be here. And the people that you work with will forever be life changing. I guess just piggybacking off of my guy right here, a lot of people that we work with, they get the chance to go out and go in real world opportunities and go out here and work in these freelance gigs. So you never know, the person that you're working with today could be a full-time position operator at the Atlanta Hawks or the Atlanta Falcons, or they could be a traveler going all over the world doing freelance opportunities. And all it takes is one time for you to show that you're able to complete the assignment, and now this operator over here can't make it and you're the replacement, and so now you're that key in the door. So I would definitely say just coming in and working hard. The way we bring in freshmen typically, and we have a website and we have a QR code to it, so you guys can scan it if you want to get it after we're finished. And you would just go on and you would email us and tell us what position you might want to be a part of. And like I told you, we have a plethora of positions on our website, and you can email us over, and we'll bring you in for orientation day. We'll have you train about 2 to 3 times before we actually put you on a position. And once we put you on a position, we do have paid positions for student media. So it would be about $10 an hour, but it's not the $10 an hour that you worry about. It's the future that it can lead to. That $10 can lead to, because certain freelance jobs, you start off at a low income, but depending on what you're working, your days can get up to $600, $700 a day. So it just depends on what you're putting in and the effort that you're willing to give.
Thank you all for that. And if for anyone that's interested, what are the requirements for your organizations, whether it be a certain grade point average, a certain major, or certain level of experience, certain classifications, um, as little or as much as you would disclose? What are the requirements? And not only what are the requirements, but for someone that is interested after today, how do they go on to actually pursue those opportunities?
So these are it's a college organization, right? So if you're here, it's because maybe not at state, but at the organization itself. It's there. You're there because you want to be there. Because the doors are open and you saw the opportunity and thought, oh, this is really cool, and you walked in. Um, there's not a specified major for Album 88. Our general manager right now is a geology major. My major is music industry management, which is pretty common. There are a lot of music majors, but definitely not exclusively. History, journalism, oh gosh, I could go on and on. Computer science, legal, all kinds of stuff. Um, the minimum requirements are have a GPA with the university. So if you took a summer semester and this is your second semester, you'd be eligible to apply immediately. If you're a freshman just coming in, we'd have you wait until January when you have an established GPA, and then we'd bring you in the door. That's really the main. I think there's a GPA requirement. I want to say it's like you have to have a 2.0 or something like that. But it's not exacting or demanding. We just ask that if you're in there, pay attention. Um, but yeah, it's not the minimum is not very high. Being interested is the major qualification, and if you feel like it's something that can help you progress towards what you're trying to do with your major, that's what I'm doing. I work at Album 88, but that also helped me land a job at WSB Radio, which is the oldest radio station in the city. I work on the same floor as 4 of the top 5 stations in the city. If you've ever listened to B98.5, those guys are like around the corner from my station. And I only get to do that because I had APD on my resume. So yeah, the minimum qualifications are not very high, but you can go about as high as you want to.
And for someone that wants to join, do they reach out to you via email, via pen, or
Oh
how does that
yeah.
work?
So we're gonna open applications. We usually do it in Windows once or twice a semester. I think we're gonna do it next week. If you want to know about that, then definitely join the pin page. There's a QR code right below, I believe. I think there's also a Google Sheets sign up. That might be what the QR code is for, actually. Either way, do that and join us on Pen, so you'll be in the loop when we send out applications, and then we'll reach out and contact you, get you into orientation, the whole 9 yards.
Thank you, Blue. Yeah, the signal. It's the requirements aren't super prohibitive. this isn't the place where you need 3 years of background. This is the place where you get your 3 years of background. We do have, we like you to, state your GPA, but it's not at all prohibitive. We just want to make sure that you're not, sacrificing your academics for our organization. But besides that, there's no real major requirements. I'm a film major who had never written a story or never written a news article before joining this organization, and now I've been leading it for going on 2 years now, and so really, not prohibitive at all. We enjoy it when you have some experience and you bring this passion to the table, but at the same time, we have infrastructure in place and we have this network that can turn any interest, turn any passion and ambition into knowledge. So if you're not confident on writing stories, you're not confident on photography or design or anything you want to do, as long as you come wanting to learn that, we can teach you, and that's what we really want. We want a dedicated team of people who, beyond just interested in the faculties of what they're working with, whatever department that might be, come with a shared goal in mind that we all share here at the Signal, which is to, be the voice for our student body, work towards that mission of creating that better culture here at Georgia State University, and so really, come one, come all, we'll sort you out, and to apply, as we're sort of sorting out what platforms best work for applications, just to not waste too much of your time after you leave here today, if you go to our Instagram, which is at GSU Signal, in our bio there is a link to a Google form where you can just plop down your name, your email, what department of the Signal you're interested in working at, and then in the next coming days after you filled that out, we'll send you a more detailed application where you can go in depth on exactly where you might want to work. So at GSU Signal, right in our bio there, you guys can approach me if you have any questions afterwards.
All right. In terms of eligibility for the GSPN, we don't have any. Once you are admitted into Georgia State University, you are able to apply to be a student worker at GSPN. Like I was saying, it's really what you get in. What you get in is what you put out. So my undergrad, I was a mass comm with a minor in marketing, and now I'm strictly in video production. So it really doesn't matter what your major is, as long as you have that dedication to come in and work hard and give it all you got. Oh, one sec. And then you not only represent Georgia State and GSPN, you also represent ESPN because we have a contract with ESPN. So not only are you representing your school, but you're representing a television network as well.
Like the games are broadcast radio and TV, like the whole. There's a whole agreement. It's college sports.
And we'll open it up to questions in a bit. But another thing, in terms of displaying your work or for one, where is your organization located? But then also, where can they find your works, whether it be online, whether it be in person, and things like that? And also, in terms of the office space, where is that located?
If you're just joining us, I did mention earlier our office space is just if you go out this door, take a right and another right, we're down the hall on the left. If you hear music playing and there's a window, you found us. That's us. You can find us online, social medias at Album88 Atlanta. Feel free to reach out. We'll probably just ask you to submit a PIN application, though. Gosh, what was it? What was the other thing that you were saying?
I mean, you pretty much answered it.
That was it? All right, I'll pass it along then.
Yeah, in terms of where we're located, follow his directions, find the glass windows and the music playing, and then take a right. It is on this floor. It is suite 250. We have one of our news racks outside, so you'll see like a big metal behemoth with our branding on it and some of our newspapers on it. That is our office. There is somebody in that office, one of our editorial staff in there, most hours of the day, most days of the week. So if you go there and the lights are on and you have any questions, just give it a knock. It'll likely be me. If not, it'll be one of the amazing members of our staff, and they can answer any questions you might have, or if you just want to, I don't know, hang out. Besides that, as any member of the Signal, you're building a portfolio here, whether you're working in any one of our given fields. If you're a writer, All of our stories, all the articles that go into the newspaper also get uploaded online to our website. Our website is georgiastatesignal.com. A very popular website. Receives 10 to 20,000 views a month. Is won several awards for its design and whatnot. And every writer who has stories uploaded there has their own little portfolio page where you can link it. Very easy to throw on a resume. Someone can click on it and see every story you've ever made at the Signal. Likewise, if you're a photographer, your portfolio photos and the stories attached to them will be there. If you're a designer, our papers are obviously right here, but also they're all uploaded digitally, which means you'll have that as a resource after your time is done here at the Signal. Yeah, I mean, anything we do, we make sure to document. We make sure that when you leave, you not only take with you the experience and the memories that you made here, but also you take with you any sort of tangible thing that you can take into the real world.
All right, so at GSPN, we're located at Hank Aaron, the football stadium, the old Atlanta Braves stadium, where our home football team is located. Um, I don't want to tell you the directions. It is crazy on how you get to the control room. So if you guys, I guess if you go on our website and you fill out the information, we can send you over all of the format to help you get up to the control room, which will be on the 4th level. But just on where you would like to, I guess, watch some of our pre-recorded or previous games would just be at ESPN Plus. You could download the app or you can go on the website, either or you can watch the game live. So those are the options.
Thank you all for that. And in terms of Neon and the literary journals, if you all are interested in those, feel free to join those pen pages as well. Or if you run into any hiccups in terms of joining the pen page, feel free to send myself an email. That's WCOLIN@gsu.edu. So that's W:@gsu.edu. So if you have any questions about other orgs that perhaps weren't up here, or even if you have any additional questions, and my office is located. Well, I'm actually moving offices, so my office will be essentially directly next door to the space that the Signal is currently located in. But I'm also so essentially student media operates within the second floor. Does anyone have any questions thus far within the audience? What would be the best way to do this?
Oh, to make sure their questions are heard on the mic.
Yeah.
What about
We can reiterate their questions.
What about if you've got a question, just come stand right here.
Yeah, you can come up, and if you don't want to come up, that's fine. Just say the question and I'll repeat it.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. You guys say you're specifically going for freshmen, right? Is it only freshmen, or are you like open to sophomores or things like that?
Is this a student media question or someone in particular?
I forgot which one of you said it, but
Well, I know they had mentioned GSPN bringing on freshman students. As student media orgs, and I'm pretty sure Blue can attest, we really don't have any preference on your grade level. This could be your last semester here at Georgia State, and we'd still want to take you. It could be your first semester, and we'd still take you. The more time that you have, the earlier you get in, the more time you can dedicate to it. And I'll say from personal experience, my first year of school here was in 2020, and I did it all from my bedroom. And it was only after I came here in my sophomore year that I got involved in student media. And I really wish I had that freshman year, because I think if I had an extra year, the return on investment only compounds over time, and you get more out of it the longer you're in it. So definitely, if you're a freshman or you're a sophomore, you can get a lot of benefit out of it. But we'll take anybody.
I feel like that question was kind of towards me, so I'm gonna come back to you. So yeah, I would definitely say our target audience is freshmen, but we will accept any other classification as well. It's just due to the fact that sometimes when you're going out here to these control room areas, they kind of want 3 to 5 years of experience. So if you're coming in as a senior, you only get 6 to 8 months of hands-on experience in a real-world control room. So you can't really, I guess, leverage that to a organizations who's already well established. So that's why I would definitely say that. But like for me, I came in Georgia State production as a senior in undergrad, so there's still opportunity, and I got in the graduate position the next year. So you make opportunity for yourself when opportunity isn't available. So while I was a senior, um, there was no graduate assistant for GSPN at the time. So I kind of created a position for myself and offered it to the university in which they accepted. So I'm like the first graduate assistant for GSPN in about 4 to 5 years. So just create opportunity for yourself, and if you go hard enough, then the doors will open.
Hi, can you hear me or should I?
No, that's fine. I'll repeat the question.
Probably
Okay,
easier.
I came in a little late, but can I ask you a question? What's your name?
Adam.
Adam?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're a film major, right?
I am a film major, yeah.
Okay. What kind of opportunities, career opportunities, would you say are available through student media?
So the question is, what sort of opportunities are available? Would you mean specifically to a film major? And
Film track, yeah.
for film-related majors in terms of student media.
Yeah, that's a thing I've really thought to myself before because I'm a film major. It's my first passion. I want to work in that industry, but I just so happen to have fallen into this position for the last 3 years. And so I've been, I've been taking, through this position, I've been taking what I can that can apply to there. And I said this towards the beginning. Recently the signal has expanded to include video broadcasting and video content sort of under our jurisdiction, whether that be live broadcasting. We already send our photographers and our writers onto the sidelines of Atlanta United games and Georgia State Panthers games. We want to send camera people with microphones and do live reporting on that. Not only that, but we want people talented in video production to help us direct commercials for the signal, to direct feature pieces about the signal for our really important stories. And so not only is there a way as a film major to really dedicate yourself to that, but also just working on a team like this in an established organization, those skills translate to anybody in this room. I think that in my time here, directing either a team of 4 to 10 to then like 30 people now, those skills are very applicable, and those skills are very applicable to anybody in the film industry. And so, I couldn't say enough the quality of the experience you can receive at student media organizations here.
Thank you.
Yeah, is that everything?
Yeah.
Awesome.
And as far as actual film organization, in addition to those other opportunities, Neon is currently looking for members as well. And Neon, also known as Neo Network, is the film production organization within student media. So currently, they're accepting new members. And I guess the benefit of joining an organization like Neon is that you have a clean slate, so you can come in with different ideas and things like that, and sort of produce independent projects and utilizing the equipment that's currently in the student media department. I think that's another cool aspect of going into this semester is that a lot of student media organizations have received equipment upgrades, whether it's the Signal as well as Elvin 88, whether it be computers, cameras, and things like that. So it's a few resources at your disposal, and that sort of helps you to, have that experience within film. So you have like cameras and things like that.
So I know you said that for album 88 you have to have a grade point average. Is that true for the signal as well, or can you apply it in your first semester?
So the question is, as someone interested in the signal, can you apply as an first semester freshman, or do you need an established GPA first?
No, you don't need an established GPA. Like I mentioned, I think the real benefits from any student organization, and that goes especially true for the Signal, is if it's something you want to get in on and it's something that you're really passionate about, the amount of time you can spend in it only increases the value over time. And so if it's your first semester, we will hear out your application and we will judge you fairly. Um, you know, every like break in a semester or break in a year, we tend to reevaluate our team, just check in on everybody. If and part of that would be asking, what your GPA is, how your academics are going, and if we think that the work that we're putting on you as an organization is taking away from that in a significant way, then we may ask you to focus on this because you're paying to go here. But no, if you're a first semester freshman, by all means, feel free to apply.
If you've got a GPA, that's the criteria. So if you were dual enrolled and you already have a GPA with the university, that's the box checked. It's not freshman first semester, it's whether or not you have a GPA. That policy has been around for a really long time and has a lot to do with the fact that as an analog radio broadcaster, we are not just beholden to university policies, but also FCC policies. The Federal Communications Commission regulates airwaves, and they have a pretty robust enforcement arm that would come knocking if we were irresponsible with our airtime. So part of protecting the license and protecting the future of Album 88 is having some structures built in to try to I don't know i- i- set up the system in such a way that if you're actually getting on air, it's because we feel like you have the responsibility and to be able to do that because it's a big it's big expensive equipment broadcasting. So we want to make sure that we're not just letting knuckleheads in.
And I'll also say, despite, like, say if you're a first semester freshman and you don't have the established GPA, that doesn't mean that you can't have interest in L88. You still can tour the station, you still can come by, and you still can. I'm sure there can be some opportunities that's presented to you. You just wouldn't allow to be on air and handle certain responsibilities. But as a first semester freshman, if you come and you say I'm eager and I know that this is something that I want to do, I'm sure that Blue and the rest of the staff can work something out with you to where they can still sort of get you prepared to be on the team in the future.
It really is. It really is just the FCC part. As anything off air that we're doing with like journalism and reporting and yeah, it's flexible. We can definitely find a position for you.
All the way to the back. Yep. Can you say that one more time? Yeah, yep. It's established.
Okay,
Yep.
okay, established. Okay, yeah. Because if you're Because if you're transferring from another university, you're transferring your GPA with you. So as soon as you enroll, whatever your GPA was gets transferred. I believe that would mean you're in the clear. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, you just mean your credits came from another university? Oh yeah, that should be the same. Yeah, there should be no issue.
With Album 88 being around the cycle radio station, in terms of opportunity, are there late night opportunities? Are things pre-recorded? How does that work?
Yeah, so absolutely, there's late night opportunities. There's a graveyard program. It's pretty common to have the newcomers come in at a fairly late night hour so they can, screw up on air and say dumb stuff, and no one can hear them, and it's okay because it's 4 a.m. Yeah, there's absolutely late night opportunities. We do some pre-programmed stuff well, the rotation itself generates overnight, so we're always on air, even if there's not a DJ sitting in the booth commentating. But yeah, there are late night opportunities. There's plenty of space to get involved.
Well, what was the last part? Yes. Yep. Okay. Gotcha.
So my name is Nakia Harmon. I'm on behalf of the president of Her Campus GSU. Her Campus GSU wasn't active in the spring due to there was just a conflict. Okay, so so hello. So my name is Nakia Harmon. I'm a journalism major at Georgia State University. So I will be the editor in chief of Her Campus GSU as well as the campus correspondent. So the president of Her Campus GSU had a lab today, so we are kind of confused about like as to whether which of us would come and represent. But if you have any questions at all, like you can feel free to DM us at Her Campus GSU, and I would like I would like to just add a couple of things. So as a journalism major, I would like to say that sometimes it can feel a little discouraging because sometimes you feel like you were saying, you have to be at a certain level to have like certain opportunities. But at Her Campus is a nationwide organization, and we're accepting all students at Georgia State. And Her Campus, since it's nationwide, they have different internships. They're associated with Spoon University, Generation Hired, and with Generation Hired, you can find many opportunities to, stuff involving advertisement, PR, marketing, journalism opportunities. And with Her Campus, you can find different journalism opportunities as well. And also, Instagram is a very useful tool because it's free and it's providing you with free resources. If you follow Journalists Guild on Instagram, there are so many freelance writers who are experienced, who are giving out, their inside knowledge of, like the industry as well. And also, if you really want to hone in on your craft, I'm going to say that since like I'm a journalist, I really like to do feature profiles, like specifically because I like talking to people, like I like engaging with people, and I like, like seeing people's like gears turn about like what they're passionate about. So I really like to hone in on my skills. So you can go to PBS Student Labs, and there are different courses that you can take to hone in on your skills as a journalist. And you can also go to NBCU, and there are many journalism courses that you can take as well that are free of charge if you really want to hone in your craft as well. So I really, really, really want Her Campus GSU this year to really, thrive and grow. And either though we weren't active on Instagram and other social media platforms in the spring. Our following is pretty good, and we want to increase our follower count. And with that being said, like we just Her Campus is known for its sponsorships as well. So if you're a PR like a public relations major, marketing major, entrepreneurship major, this may interest you as well. So we're like we're like looking for positions to be filled. So we hope you all, consider joining Her Campus GSU this year.
And in terms of her campus, what sort of platform and what are the certain things that you all cover? Can you speak to that?
So with Her Campus, okay, it's a nationwide organization. So they're like you can also become like a nationwide like contributor too, but it's basically you can cover all sorts of things. Like mostly we're known for being a digital magazine that covers, college related content, but I would say it's more we're open to like all covering all types of categories and all types of issues and all types of topics as well. So there's really like no limit of like what type of content you can create with Her Campus. So that's
Did I miss any? Okay.
Yeah, so this is for 88.5. You guys, don't you guys share like your airwaves? NPR has a section of that, right? So how much airtime is there that's broadcast on radio that isn't taken up by NPR that you guys like fill? Like how many hours of a day do you guys have access to that you're broadcasting over the full channel?
In terms of airtime, with GPB and NPR compared to 88.5, what does the actual airtime look like?
Yeah, so you're right. There's a split broadcast schedule. There's two NPR stations in the city: GPB Atlanta on 88.5 WRAS and WABE on 90.1. They're two different organizations owned by different crews. In 2014, the university struck a deal with GPB, which transferred 14 of 24 hours to GPB. So from 5 a.m. to 7 p.m., it's mostly simulcast with 90.1 WABE, and you can imagine we all have our opinions about this. But yeah, after 7 p.m., the signal flips back to us, and we have the airwaves all to ourselves until 5 a.m. We do broadcast 24 hours a day, though, just on those off hours. We're on the HD2 sub channel. So if you have a car made past like 2016 or something like that, then you'll be able to tune in. You can also always find us online. There's an internet stream on TuneIn. You can usually ask your smart speaker to play Album 88 radio, and it'll pick that up any time of the day, even before 7. Um, Gosh, what else? Oh, yeah, there's a stream on WRAS.org. So we're always audible. But yeah, it's the 10 hours from 7 to 5.
For the signal and album 88, is there a certain amount of people that you're like letting onto the team, or are you just like going based off of like if whether or not you qualify or not?
For both the Signal and Album 88, in terms of new team members, is there a certain number or cap that you're looking for, or is it just based on the quality of candidates?
So our main restricting factor is the schedule. I think we can fit like 60 or 70 people, and we have like 40 now, so we can probably put on an extra 20 or 30. And then after the rotation is filled out, we'd still love to have you involved because there are other opportunities at the station for you to get involved with. And people graduate every year, so every year there's going to be slots opening up and moving around and changing. So yeah, probably we'd take another 20, 30, 40 people before we start really thinking about, oh, maybe we should, shut this and be a little more discerning.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, at the Signal, we really don't have any limiting factors when it comes to how many people we bring on. It's just a matter of these sort of administrative restraints. We're looking for writers in a few of our sections more than others. If you have an interest in sports journalism, please do apply. That's our biggest deficit. We're we're looking for members of our creative team. We're looking for members of our marketing and business team. We're looking for videographers and directors in that sense. And yeah, really, there's no limit, because like I've said before, if you don't have the skills but you have the passion, we can go from there. If you have the skills, that's amazing too. And so yeah, no limiting factors. I'm sure at a certain point we would stop accepting new people, but that's nowhere in sight.
Does that also work the same for you? As far as like the capacity of people, especially because it's paid positions?
No, not necessarily. So we don't have a capacity limit right now, just due to the fact that you have to understand we're still working with students. So when Thanksgiving comes and Christmas comes, you guys are gone. So people who are staying, that still gives them the opportunity to work as well. And then we keep freelancers, but we definitely don't have a cap on it because you never know someone's schedule. We're playing games. Games vary each week, so it might be a Tuesday at 4 o'clock game this week, Thursday at 3 next week, and somebody has class. So that opens up for you, or somebody went home, somebody had a family emergency. So we don't necessarily have a cap because we have about 15 to 20 people working positions during game days.
So in terms of applying for positions with Neon, we're gonna following the event, I'll take down a list of everyone that's interested, and also joining the Neon pin page. Will So when you join a pin page, it opts you into where you receive updates and anything that pertains to the organization. So joining the pin page as well as signing up on the list, and then based on the interest, there will be an interest meeting within the next couple of weeks, depending on once we can solidify that. And then based on that interest meeting, we'll just move forward in terms of securing the team and building the organization back up in that way.
Okay, if you want to do sports media, do you have to like have qualified knowledge about sports to do that?
So for anyone that wants to participate in anything sports media related, how much sports knowledge itself is actually needed?
Uh, in student media generally, or at a particular organization. I know at Album 88 at least, the current guys who are working on sports don't know anything about sports. Um, I know. You can see we're all in desperate need of help here. I bet Adam has a similar story.
Yeah, currently in at least as far as the people who in the newspaper who write about sports, we got one guy. His name's Matt. He's a great guy. He knows a lot about sports, but it's not necessary to know. And we have many like opportunities in different ways to investigate sports journalism. You can write about it in this newspaper, and whether that's about the teams themselves or you do human stories related to that. That's one thing. If you're a photographer or one of our videographers and you want to be on the sidelines, either taking pictures of or interviewing athletes, there's that. But no sports knowledge is required. You can cultivate that over time if that's what it ends up panning out to. But as long as you can write a good story.
It's not so much sport media, but that's also a problem we have on GSPN as well. We have people that want to come and run positions, but they don't know the sport. So it's like either you know the sport and you don't know the equipment, or you know the equipment and don't know the sport. So it's like if you have both of those, then that's just 100% plus. But you will have to learn either or along the road, along the ride.
And I guess to sort of piggyback off Adam a little bit, or even with any other organization. So obviously, if you know the sport, that helps in terms of having certain insight. But it depends on what sort of angle you're going for in terms of your story, or what aspect of media you're doing as it pertains to the sport. So obviously, if you're going to go cover the game, you have to be able to know what the stats mean and what's happening. But if you're doing a feature story where you're not so much talking about the game itself, but more so going in depth about a certain person, or if you're doing photography or videography, then in that sense, no direct knowledge of the sport is necessary, but it definitely is an asset to have.
This is a question for the Signal and for sorry, for Signal and Album 88. Is there any like spots open for like reviewing new music, like writing reviews for new albums as they come out? Because that's something I'm familiar with.
Is there opportunities to write or publish music reviews via Album 88 or The Signal?
Yeah, so that actually feeds really well into. All right, so there was a lot of programs that were set up in like 2018, 2019 that immediately fell asleep when COVID happened. Podcasting is one of them. So if something like an album review series, if it doesn't fit on air, then it would probably fit in a podcast. So that's absolutely an opportunity. It depends on how engaged you are, how much free time you have, and how much you're willing to spend time in the studio.
That's really ironic because like I had an idea for a podcast ages ago, and this is the exact topic.
Well, sign up and come tell us about it.
Perfect. Yeah, ditto here. inside of our physical newspaper here, we have four different sections. There's news, opinions, sports, and arts and living. Arts and living being the section which covers in its whole sense anything arts and anything living related. And album reviews and talking about that sector is definitely within that umbrella there. And um, working as a writer, doing stuff like that, it's um, you can really maximize that pursuit. I have the phone numbers of the PR person over by the Masquerade and at the Variety Playhouse on my phone. We send writers there on a weekly basis to go to a show, talk to some artists and stuff like that, and get to us really understand like the history behind these things. And as far as sports journalism goes or news stuff goes, we have those opportunities as well. We send people to Mercedes-Benz all the time. I also have the phone number of the head of communications for Mercedes-Benz Stadium. One of our news writers recently went to the Fulton County jailhouse to do a package on a recent president who had a mugshot taken there, and um, so 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 in arts and living in each of these sections we have the opportunity to really get into this, and that's something that the Signal has done very intensely in the past, and as I'm sure Blue can attest to, COVID completely destroyed a lot of that infrastructure. But we're getting back to that. We have these people's contact. They want students. They want the Signal to go cover them, and so yeah, for arts and living, for any other section, there are opportunities there to really maximize any sort of coverage you want to do.
So we're gonna take the last 3 or 4 questions. Yep. Uh, and then we'll let you all kind of do closing remarks. And then if any additional people have questions, you can just come up and talk to the panelists individually. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Okay, so you first.
This is actually a question from somebody in the live chat.
Okay.
They're asking, can you join more than one organization, or is it best to join just one?
So the question from one of our online audience members: can you join more than one student media organization?
I know there's certainly no rule against that at all. We're happy to have you guys as involved in as many organizations as you want. I will say though that the different orgs have a degree of overlap. So if I was a freshman, I feel like I would probably pick one and try to go as hard in that one as I can. Just that way I have something I'm building on instead of spreading myself out over multiple different things. But there's no rule that says that. You can really get as involved in as many as you want, as much free time as you have to offer.
Yeah, and thank you, David. By the way, can always rely on you. David's one of the members of our team. He's a great guy. But yeah, like you said, like he said, you can be a part of several student organizations, including student media. The only thing where it causes any conflict is if you're on our team and you're being a journalist for several different news publications, that's where it can create some sort of conflict where not only is it a time conflict, we want to make sure that you're at least having enough time to complete the responsibilities here, but also just as far as bringing the best stories, not having a conflict of where to bring them to. Um, but yeah, I mean, and like Blue stated, like I would love, I think that splitting your attention two ways can tend to, it's not 50-50. You'll lose a little bit of bandwidth in that transition, and so, whether it's anyone up on this stage, I'd encourage you to dedicate 100% of your time because that's how you'll get 100% of your effort out.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I don't believe there's a number of organizations or clubs that you can join, but I believe if you're a paid student worker, the most hours you can work in a week is 20. So just be cautious of that because, let's say, for example, a football game, that's typically about 8 hours. So you only have about 12 hours to work in another organization if it's a paid intern. But if it's something free, such as a club, or you're just going out to be a part of an organization because you have interest in it or that's a hobby, then I don't believe there's any requirements.
Okay, so for the Signal, I would say since we're since we're becoming like more active on campus this semester and the following semester, I would say that honestly I would try to stick to one organization. But like I said, since her campus is a nationwide organization and there are like different chapters around the United States, if you have prior experience with journalism, you can contribute to her campus, like the national chapter, if you would like to. So just keep that in mind as well. Like you don't have to join her campus GSU this school year if you don't want to, and then like decide maybe the following school year, like maybe I would want to write for the national chapter. So you can do that as well. And I would also like to say like with journalism, like something that I like to do is sometimes I like to go to like my favorite like publications and like maybe like look up like a staff writer or something like that. And I feel like sometimes you can like reach out to people through LinkedIn. Like don't be afraid to schedule like a coffee chat. Like some of these people are actually like willing to pour into you if you just like choose to like open up to them a little bit about like what your aspirations are, I guess. But also, just keep in mind that if you do decide to be a freelancer, like for a publication or any like type of organization, like as communication, like someone over their communications or anything like that, like always try to be as consistent as possible. If you decide to, hop around freelancing, like make those connections, at least the network, and don't be afraid to join like Slack channels because I feel like Slack is kind of underrated. But like if you join like Slack channels, like even if it's like something for like STEM or something like that, like there may be someone who's like looking for a communications outreach director or something like that, or a communications assistant or whatever, and you may have those certain qualifications. So just always be open minded when it comes to like different things that you can do in like journalism related like type of industries. That's all I'm trying to say.
So it is 12 o'clock, but the last two people that have questions, I will allow you to answer them. But if anyone has to step out, feel free to do that as well.
How you doing?
Hello.
This question is more for the album. So I just wanted to ask if you could like further elaborate on the idea of podcast formatting within the broadcast. I do have experience within podcast production, and I just wanted to see if it was an opportunity to possibly incorporate podcasts and sports talk within the album 88.
So the question is are there podcasting opportunities within Album 88?
I have this fantasy of having every podcast we've ever done on rotation and broadcast. That would be so cool. Um, the main differences between podcasting and broadcasting has to do with one answers to the FCC and the other doesn't. So there's a lot you can get away with on podcast that you just could not get away with on broadcast. However, that doesn't mean that you can't broadcast a podcast. It just means that if you want to, it requires some formatting to fit into the rest of the station's voice. But yeah, there's absolutely opportunities for that. If you have a concept you're really passionate about, you think you could produce, it'd probably be either a half hour or an hour long program. There's some wiggle room. We'll work with you. But yeah, that's absolutely something I'd love to have podcasts on air. That drives me crazy that we don't have that right now.
Yep.
Get up here. Get up here. Come here.
Feel free to step up.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Marissa Ware, and I'm the Vice President of Broadcast for NABJ, which is the National Association of Black Journalists. So we're an organization here on campus for people interested in journalism, public relations, broadcast, print, anything media related. So in our group chat, we have like internship opportunities, scholarship opportunities. We have guest speakers come in to speak with us. So if you're interested in that, you can follow us on Instagram at NABJ_GSU. And I also write for The Signal, so take advantage of all the opportunities you have here for student media.
Last question.
Yeah, so about the question of like I mentioned, like the sort of access that we can get through media passes as members of this of an established news organization. 100%. There's not many places specifically within Atlanta that wouldn't accept the signal as in their media. That wouldn't accept them for media passes, I should say. And concert photography, speaking to artists, that's something that we can do. Since it is, it's an intensive thing. It requires a certain level of composure. You're representing our organization in a way where you're not you're on your own, and you have to be able to sort of be self-sufficient. And so, if you become a member of the Signal, whether you're a photographer or a journalist, you'll definitely have to run through the paces for at least a few weeks before we can sort of upgrade you to going into these more intense stories, whether they be anywhere in any one of our sections. But concert photography, being right up there, like in front of the barrier, in front of the stage, or backstage talking to any sort of artist or person, that's something that you can definitely do. That we greatly encourage because it improves the product that we make, and yeah, definitely an option for anybody who wants it.
So thank you all for coming, and also thank you to our representatives for coming and giving some insight in terms of the media organizations here on campus. Now, as we wrap up, feel free to come up and ask any questions that you may have to any one of us personally. There also is different work samples and promotional items, as well as some refreshments and cookies on the back table. So feel free to take one cookie per person, just being cognizant of other people. But thank you for your time.